Last time I did this, I got so nervous that we didn't even do the harvest offering. I know you all gave twice the second Sunday. There's a great line or scene in the movie Patton where the enemy's coming, and the general is going through and he's rounding up people, and he grabs this guy and he says, "Go get your rifle." And he says, "But General, sir," he says, "I'm a cook." He says, "No, you're a soldier. Get a rifle." And right now we're going through a period of turmoil, and we're all going to have to go get a rifle. This is not the time for pew sitters. Welcome, please come. Don't go away because I said that. But it's time that we all need to pitch in and do what we can. In Ephesians 6, talks about putting on the full armor of God. And the heavy artillery in the full armor of God is prayer. And if you can do nothing else, pray. Just pray, pray, and keep on praying. We're going through a period of change right now. And me standing here, for one thing, is testimony to that. You know, Brother Rick and Sister Connie, their marriage is taxed, and they're trying to reconcile, seek restoration. In fact, that's what they're trying to do right now. That's why I'm here. And Brother Rick had decided that he can't pastor this family until he gets his other family in order and gets that family restored. And I respect Brother Rick for that, for that decision. And I respect Sister Connie for also wanting to work to restore the marriage. Those of us that are either have divorced or been children of divorce know what that does to a family. And the best thing that we can do is pray. One thing I do want to tell you all about change, though. It's another thing, just get over it. It's never going to be the same. We're not going to go back to the way it was. But that doesn't mean we're going back to something worse. One thing that's already good that's come out of it is Brother Danny and Brother Ernest and I, we talked with Brother Rick last night, and we're all going to work as best we can to help keep this church together and restore this church. And I don't mean the building. We'll meet out in the parking lot. We'll meet out in homes. You know, in the book of Acts, they didn't have churches. They met in catacombs and they met at homes. We don't need a building. You are the church. And sometimes we fuss about people bringing drinks into the church. No, the church is bringing drinks into the building. We're the church. I want to talk a little bit today, though, about when somebody you love sins. There is a basic flaw in what I call the prosperity gospel, the blab it and grab it, name it and claim it gospel. We're promised adversity. Adversity is promised to us. Misery is an option. Misery is your choice. But I look at it, I look at Christianity as, you know, I fly on airplanes a lot. And it's a whole different culture up there at 30,000 feet. It's really rather bizarre and not as glamorous as it seems. It's a bus with some real long pieces of metal sticking out of it. Let's say stewardess comes up to you with a parachute and says, "Put this parachute on. You'll look really cool. It's going to be comfortable, and you'll enjoy the flight a whole lot better with that parachute on." Well, I don't know if any of you have strapped on a parachute, but it ain't comfortable and it don't look pretty. You sit on that thing, and it starts to get uncomfortable, and it pinches and it binds, and people are looking at you and laughing at you for having that parachute. Pretty soon you're going to take that parachute off and you're going to throw it away and say, I am never putting that thing on again. Let's say on another flight, the same stewardess comes up to you and says, this plane is going to crash. If you put on this parachute, you'll live. And you don't care how uncomfortable it is. You don't care how it pinches and how it binds. And you don't care if they're laughing at you, because you know you're going to live and they're not. And when there's a prosperity gospel preached, that you can have all the earthly possessions and all the earthly happiness you want if you're a Christian, and adversity comes, life starts to pinch and it starts to get uncomfortable and people start laughing at your circumstances, and you just want to cast it off and say, I'm never going back to that church again. It's just too uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. But if you realize that the gospel is there to save you, you don't care what other people think. You don't care if you have adversity, because adversity is going to come, especially if you start infringing on Satan's turf. And he is the prince of the world. But you don't care if people laugh at you, because you're going to live, no matter what they say. And that's something we have to hang on to. Christ did not die to make bad men good. He died to give dead men life. Just because you're Christian doesn't mean you're perfect. I told someone one time about a certain person. He says, he's a Christian, he's saved, get over it. Yeah, they're going to come to church, and you know what? They're not perfect. Get over it. We're not perfect, we're just saved. But when sin does come, there are some things that we're supposed to do. And I want to step through some of that and kind of remind us all, including myself, what some of those things are. I want to start out with Psalm 25, what David said about it. David really messed up. It's bad enough to mess up, but to have it written in a book that will be here, not only here on earth, but in eternity. That's pretty embarrassing. And he messed up big time. But God still called him one after his own heart. Because even though he messed up, he sought a relationship. And Psalm 25 talks about that a bit. If you'll turn to that. The first thing David does in Psalm 25 is he turns to God for guidance and some forgiveness. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. O God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not mine enemies triumph over me. Yea, let none that wait on thee be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause. Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth and teach me, for thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. Remember, O Lord, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindness, for they have been ever of old. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to thy mercy remember that thou me, for thy goodness sake, O Lord.